Powerpuff Girls funny. How many were here for that? The Powerpuff Girls.
That was fun.
Yeah, that was a lot of fun. A lot of interesting things happened on stage.
A lot. I'm sure it inspired several memes and silly drawings.
Yeah. Cool. We're just going to go through a little bit with you one-on-one, and then we're going to open it up to the audience. So, just to start out, what got you into voice acting to begin with?
Well, I knew when I was 5 years old that I wanted to be an actress and a singer and dancer, actually, and I used to perform in front of my class, and I didn't know that voice acting was a career. But when I was 13, my agent sent me out for the voice of Hello Kitty.
Hello Kitty's Storytell Theater's proud to present The Wizard of Oz.
And that was my first job.
It's a pretty big character to start out with.
You know, I like to go big.
Very cool, very cool. And you've also done some stuff in front of the camera too. Do you feel like there is a difference between being an actor on camera versus doing the voices?
Of course. You know, when I'm doing an animated series, I don't have to spend hours in hair and makeup. Of course, the day I come straight from the gym, like, oh, we forgot to tell you Access Hollywood was coming today. So, you know, we still gotta look cute. But it's a completely different medium, and they're both really fun, and I love doing both for different reasons, and I feel very lucky to be able to do them both. And you know, recently I had a recurring on Big Time Rush, and I just did an episode of Super Fun Night, and I get to do it all. I'm pretty lucky.
Yeah, it's awesome. And do you feel like because with the voices you can also play so many different characters that you probably wouldn't be able to play if you were on?
Yeah, I can't really pull off 10-year-old boy in person.
Very cool. Well, if you don't mind, I'm gonna do a little James Lipton on you. Some inside the actor's studio sort of deal. Just go through some of your iconic roles. I'm sure a lot of you will know. And just when I bring one out, if you want to tell us just how you got involved in that character, if you want to bring out the voice, whatever you want to do. You guys good for that? Yeah. All right, give me James Lipton. Terror Strong. You already mentioned Hello Kitty. That was one of your big roles. I really like that. You also did a lot of movie cartoons back in the day. You were on Beetlejuice animated series. You did Beetlejuice. Remember that? You were also on Bill and Ted's Excellent Adventures, the animated series. You remember some of these cartoons? Was it different back then?
Yes, I do. I remember Claire Brewster. Yeah. And Bertha was like, wow, I've never been invited to a party that had invitations.
It's awesome. How many people like video games out here? I'm sure you probably heard of a game known as Super Mario Brothers. You are actually two Koopas, I believe, right?
Hip and Hop.
Hip and Hop Koopa from Mario 3 and Mario World cartoon right here. Yeah. Did that feel interesting when you have to feel like there's a little bit of extra dealing with doing a character that's got a property behind it or got a franchise behind it, or did you still have that kind of freedom to play around with the characters?
Well, you know, I always get really excited when I book a legacy character or something that people already really love, and I definitely feel a responsibility to do a great job. Like when I stepped into those amazing shoes of Miss Harley Quinn, I was extremely nervous, and I'm very conscious of making sure I'm doing something that the fans will really love, but that also feels organic to me, and that the writers and the producers, I gotta make a lot of people happy, and so I definitely try my best to do that, and typically when I'm doing a show, I don't think about, you know, this character was on a game. I have a drawing of the character, and then I have the production staff telling me all about it, and then in my head I imagine that I am that character, and I gotta bring that character to life.
That's awesome. That's amazing. Now, you've done some iconic characters. You've also done some iconic spin-offs of characters. I'm referring to the 1997 series Extreme Ghostbusters. You were Kylie, the first female Ghostbuster, right?
Right.
You remember Extreme Ghostbusters? Yeah. I'm showing my age now. But
that was really fun, because at the time Alfonso Ribeiro and Jason Marsden were both on regular sitcoms, so we taped at night, which never happens in animation, but we would be booked from like 6 to 10 at the studios, and I just remember Maurice LaMarche eating like pizza with peanut butter on it, and I don't know, we got very silly and tired. I think Maurice actually fell asleep a couple times, and Billy West doing Slimer. We had a lot of fun.
That's nice. Awesome. You also had another pretty big one, the Batman animated series. You were You were Barbara Gordon, aka Batgirl. Is that
Yeah,
correct?
doing it again, which is really fun. But I remember when I first booked it, I was saying yesterday that I collected Batgirl stuff, and when I booked it, it was like, I was pretty new to LA, I'm from Toronto, and my agent's like, oh my God, you're the girl, it's the girl, it's the Bat, you're Batgirl. And I was like, oh my gosh. And then to like sit in the studio with Mark Hamill and Kevin Conroy and all these huge stars, and I was like, pinching myself. I fangirl out too sometimes, so that was pretty fun.
And is that cool that they keep bringing you back? Because you've been Batgirl for a number of different DC series.
Yes, I actually get really mad when they don't. It's just so fun to play her, and it's fun. I know Disney has a thing where once you're that character, you're always that character, and I think the fans really love that, and they actually get upset when it gets changed. And so, aside from the fact that I love playing Batgirl, the fans get really excited too. They always give me so much love on Twitter, so thank you for all that.
And then, now do you find it interesting that you're Batgirl, but then also later on, you've become Harley Quinn for the Batman video games?
Yeah, I put that on my Twitter. I put a picture of Batgirl and Harley, and I'm like, and you think you have an identity crisis? I got to play both those girls. It's so much fun, and I mean, I love Arlene too. When I was doing Batgirl, she was Arlene, and she's been so lovely to me in the press, and she's just wonderful. She created the roles, so it's a huge honor to step into those shoes.
Was that a difficult thing? Is that a difficult thing as a voice actor to take the place of someone else? And
Yes.
It's like the big shoes to fill almost.
Yeah, it was really scary. And also, they told me that they wanted to change it, and that's why. So they said, we don't want you to do an impression of her. And I was like, wow, Harley, that's what's so great about her is her voice. So I'd already been working on an impression and say, well, make it your own. Just, do a little mix of you and her. And I was like, I hope the fans like it, because it's, we fall in love with these characters, so thankfully they've been wonderful.
Who would win in a fight? Batgirl or Harley Quinn?
I gotta go with Harley. She's just so crazy. Unless, Batgirl's got her friends to back her up. Harley on her own might go crazy on her.
Can we hear a little Harley? Do you guys want to hear a little Harley?
Give it up, Batgirl. I'm gonna kick your Bat-Brain butt. You'd think after living with Mr. J all this time I'd be used to a little pain. Sweetie, where's my pudding?
I think you a lot of time to ingest it. It was like,
My son too, he's always like, sorry mommy, I killed you today.
And speaking of superheroes, 1998, we have you as the iconic Bubbles from the Powerpuff Girls. We talked a lot about that yesterday, but I would love to just know, for those who maybe weren't here, what the experience like of becoming part of that show, and particularly that trio.
Well, the other girls were already cast. They had done a pilot years before, and then they brought me in, and at first I was completely confused, because like I said yesterday, we were being chased by broccoli, or like really weird stuff was happening, even though I could tell by the drawings and the creative staff behind it that it was going to be extraordinary. Working alongside the cast members from Powerpuff Girls was always fun. And if the engineer ever wants to make a fortune, he can sell the tapes of what we said behind the scenes. We wrote the Powerpuff Girls theme song a few different times, not PG-13. And we had a lot of fun doing Powerpuff. That was a really special time.
No one has ever done dirty things with Powerpuff Girls.
No.
Especially on the
In
internet.
fact, if you follow me on Twitter, you'll say, here's a picture of me naked, and it'll be Timmy Turner, getting out of the pool. So every so often I'll be like, okay, Bubbles Tushy. And I'm like, okay, cannot be unseen. Why did I Google that? Yeah.
Safe search. Gotta use that safe search.
No, yeah. Whoopsie.
Can we hear a little bit of Bubbles?
I'm just as tough as Blossom and Buttercup. I'm hardcore.
That's awesome. And I love that you guys, you were up here, they were singing songs together and stuff like that. Do you feel like those parts are also helpful with being a voice actor, having training in singing, or just being able to...
Oh yeah, you have to have a good ear to do voiceover. A lot of time when you're doing an impression, or you have to do an accent, or a lot of characters do sing. So it's really important if you're wanting to get into voiceover, take every kind of acting class and singing lesson and really get those chops, all your chops started.
You made a movie debut in '98. A little movie called The Rugrats movie. You were Dill Pickles, the baby brother, Dill Pickles. Is it fun being a baby?
Well, you know, it's funny because, well, like I said before, you imagine that you're these characters, so a lot of times for Baby Dill, it would just be, there weren't actual lines, it was just like in the stage direction, so it'd be like, Baby Dill grabs Tommy's toy, hits him in the head, and then throws up. So I was like, oh. And my script would be all wet, you know, or sometimes I'm like eating my toe and be like, are you okay in there? It'd be very visual, Baby Dill.
So you get really into it when you do the voices. You
Yes,
just make
I
the
don't wear a
voices there.
diaper, but I get into it. Sorry, that ruins your Baby Dill fantasy.
That's the subreddit I'm on. And you also been dogs before. Like you were Puff and you were BBC, CC, and Puff in the Proud Family and things like that. So is that a different take as well, doing animals or?
Yeah, I mean, you know, anytime you're doing something cartoony, if they want it cartoony or they want it more like you can tell what the animals are saying, you know, you have to kind of get that balance from the writers and what they want. I mean, the best at animal noises is hands down Frank Welker. You know, sometimes you're watching him and you're like, I don't know what planet you're from, but are there more of you? I mean, him and Dee Baker are like just crazy good at noises and monsters and aliens, and it's amazing.
But that has to be a lot of fun because again, you know, doing animation or doing voices, sometimes you don't get to play those types of characters when you're on screen. Is it fun to be able to just create something that's never been seen before and
Yeah.
put a voice behind it?
Definitely.
So it's cool. All right, 2000. You were a mermaid. You were Melody in The Little Mermaid 2, Return to the Sea, and I remember that being a big experience for you.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know what little girl didn't want to be the mermaid, but when I first came into the studio, they told me that I was just voice tracking it for whatever on-camera celebrity they were going to give it to. And as soon as I started to perform, the director came out and said, they're in love with you, you're Melody. And I was like, so happy. And then, you know, also a lot of times they have pop stars doing the singing. And then when they told me I was going to do the singing, I was so excited. And then the first day I was in the studio with Jodie Benson, I burst into tears. Where's my criers? I've had a few criers out. Yeah, those girls are waterworks over there today. So I was like, I did that too. And I was like bawling, and she's like, are you okay? Like, I've just loved you for so long. And then like singing with her was really surreal, and she was very gracious and very sweet, but that was my big fangirl moment, Mermaid.
And that's awesome. And that's awesome for such a big character like that they gave it to you. Because, you know, we talked about this a little bit yesterday. Sometimes with these bigger characters, they like to give those to celebrities and to be like, oh, you know, Will Smith's voicing a fish. So it's so it was nice that they, you know, went with a true
It was
voice
really
actor.
nice, and they filmed the sessions, and they drew a lot over my face. Like, you can see a lot of time on the rocks when she's like, you know, sometimes I pretend I have fins. And it's like just her face, you can see my eyes. Like, it's really cool. They drew my face on her. It was really cool.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
All right, 2000, you also became a little boy.
I did?
You did. You were Timmy Turner in The Fairly Odd Parents. Still going on to this day. How's it feel to be a little boy?
Well, I wish Cosmo and Wanda were here. I love being Timmy Turner.
We have so much fun, and of course now, and my magical dog was here earlier. I don't know if Matt's still here. He was there earlier today. He was visiting. We have so much fun on that show. We just all laugh our butts off the whole time.
And I love hearing your voice now. When they made that live action, I was like, I can't watch this. There's only one Timmy Turner.
And should I not have been like a cameo, like Stan? Stan gets to be cameos.
Yeah.
Would it be funny if I was like a waitress or something in that?
Give respect.
Which was like, I'm sorry, you can't play a 10-year-old boy. I'm like, I know that. But I could be like chick number 1 or something.
He has a nice voice, that character. Walk by.
Oh, that'd be funny, right? Like if it was me talking to Drake Bell. Here's your coffee, sir. Funny.
You sound familiar.
When I met Drake Bell, we were doing Spider-Man together. And I met him and I said, hi, I'm Timmy Turner. And I go, hi, Timmy Turner. And he goes, yeah. And I go, no, Timmy Turner. He's like, yeah. Timmy Turner. He's like, oh my God, you're Terry Strong. That's funny. Now he gets it.
And speaking of being a little boy, you also were talking about Dill earlier in the Rugrats movie as a baby, but you also came back as Dill for the Rugrats All Grown Up.
Yeah.
And it's something you don't really see too often, that you playing two characters at two different stages of their life. Was there something that you had to, was there a way that you had to approach that character? Because it's like, well, now he's
Well,
not
I just
a baby
wanted to make
anymore.
sure he didn't sound too much like Timmy.
Yeah.
So I'm doing Timmy and Omi and Ben and
Yeah.
Dill. And it's like, you know, how many 10-year-old boys can I do?
That's right.
I
She's
know
also
that
been
sounds
10.
wrong. I know. Easy. But I just don't want it to sound the same. So I try to tweak it just a little bit. So Dill was just a little quirkier than Timmy, a little more dude-like, you know. And then I'm doing Terrence on Foster's Home from Imaginary Friends, and he was like really mean. That was like the hardest for me vocally because he's always yelling and mean.
And how did you approach Ben 10? Because she's also Ben 10.
Yeah, Ben is just like more superhero cool and a little more conceited than Timmy, and he's a little bit vocally older, a little bit, yeah.
Because Tony's up here.
Ben's a little down there, so I kind of like French.
I'm geeking out now. I'm just like, all right. 2003. A little show came on by the name of Teen Titans. And you portray the character of Raven.
Yeah.
It's the only one I can't look at you into. So what was it? Because that's you know, a lot of characters you do are very excitable, very high pitched. Raven is just very like low down, cool character.
So the audition for Titans was interesting because there was 2 female characters, and in the audition for Starfire it said she's a grown-up Bubbles. So I'm like, I'll vote that. Thinking, you know, it's me. And I was also nervous about my Raven audition because I was doing Kylie at the time and Batgirl. And when you read the character description for Raven, she's similar, like dark and, you know, always like kind of dark and not really high energy. And I was like, okay, so I did her just kind of as my own voice. And then I had this idea, and on my way out I said to Andrea Romano, can I try one more thing? And I don't know where that idea came from, but that's a big part of doing voiceover, is just kind of going with it. And I just put that weird role and everything that she said, Azrath Matrion Zinthos. And people were like, what? We like that. So, but it's fun because when other actors that I work with a lot come to see me do Teen Titans, they're like, wow, you're working really hard on this show, Tara. And they're all screaming. And I mean, I don't know if you guys watch Titans Go, but Scotty Mendel, like every episode is crazy and yelling, and I'm like, whatever. It's like all the time. It's fun.
And again, going back on the whole bringing the characters back, it was cool that with Teen Titans Go, even though it's a different style than the original show, they brought the entire cast.
We were
back to that.
so, I mean, that was one of those shows that we were, as the actors, as bummed as the fans when it got canceled. And it left on such a cliffhanger, and we were really hoping for more, and then it took a few years, and when they said it's coming back, we were so excited. And then when I saw that it was silly, I'm like, oh, I hope people like it. But we were all so happy to be together, and I think that translates. And I actually really love Teen Titans Go. I think it's so much fun, and my kids love it, and they like the theme song.
It's good. It's great to see that character. All right, 2004. This is a show I love, but I'm a little nervous for the kids in the audience. You're on a show called Drawn Together. Which, if you have not seen Drawn Together, it's basically a reality show with cartoon characters. And you think that would be clean, but it is not. You were 2 characters on this show. First, you were Princess Clara, which was kind of like, you know, maybe some Disney background came to that, but it tells a little bit about Princess Clara.
So when I first got the audition for her, they wanted me to improv a song. And I don't know why, but I made up a song about loving my pet turtle. I have no idea. But it was funny, so it worked. And I don't know, it's funny to play like a Disney princess who's racist. We obviously don't want to go there in the real world. And when she talks to Cree, who Cree was actually in Hello Kitty with me. We did our first show together, so it's funny to like say inappropriate things to her, and then make out with her, and then sing about making out with her. I remember it was like the same year my mother-in-law was visiting, and I took her to a Rugrats taping, and then we were going to a Drawing Together table read, and I'm like, just so you know, this one's not the Rugrats. It's not anything like Rugrats. But it was fun because so much of my life was spent doing kids shows, so to get in a studio and say bad words was fun too. And then Toot is hilarious.
I love Toot a lot. It's a
Yeah.
funny character.
Toot is pretty funny.
Can we, I mean, I'm afraid to ask this, but can we hear a little Clara and a little Toot?
Nothing but clean line from Clara. What? He said go dirty.
Kids, cover your ears.
Fetch my bag, servant girl. There's Clara. And toot for a moment like this. Toot, tooty, toot. You're
I love Toot. Toot always made me laugh. All right. You don't just dabble in the movies and the cartoons and the TV shows. You also do video games. You did one particular video game not too long ago, Lollipop Chainsaw. Is there a different vibe doing a video game character versus doing the other characters?
Yeah, because for animated shows, we all work together typically. And when you book a voiceover job, they have you for up to 4 hours. So when you're playing off other actors, it's less exhausting, whereas a video game, it's just you for 4 hours straight. So it can be really tiring and taxing on your voice, especially when you have to do like 800 dying sounds. Like, can we get 50 kicks in the, in the stomach, or now can we get them harder? And that can be really hard. But at the same time, you want to make sure that you're still doing a good job so that you're engaging, because I feel like video game fans are really special, that they sort of feel like they're in the game with you. So you don't want to disappoint them when you're filling the pages like you have 800 more lines, but you still want to sell it and make it good. So it's definitely harder to do video games.
Can you do a little bit of Juliet?
Oh, I love my boyfriend Nick so much. But, take that! Gonorrhea face! You've got gonorrhea face!
I'm glad that's considered clean. It's a name Clara, but
I don't know what that is.
So I think that's it. I don't know if there's any other characters that you've done that anyone knows, except for maybe in 2010 you started doing My Little Pony: Friendship is Magic. Little independent show, a little show that a few people have heard about. What is it like being in Twilight Sparkle?
Well, Lauren Faust, who I worked with on Foster's Home and Powerpuff Girls and Super Best Friends, she actually came to my house with these drawings that she had done of Equestria and of the girls. And she said, "Would you help me with this pitch?" No. Of course. She's like, "Did you used to play with ponies?" Of course I did. And so in my little home studio, I laid down for her Twilight and Pinkie Pie, and I think Rainbow Dash for her pitch. And as soon as she heard me do Twilight, she's like, that's her. Because she had to be like nerdy and book smart, but still cute and someone that everyone would love. And she's like, she just knew that was me. And so of course when we started, I thought it was going to be a show that mostly kids watched. And then all of a sudden, enter the bronies, which I learned about on Twitter. And I love so much.
Do you have any bronies in the house?
Can't even stand how much I love them, and they're so cute and adorable. And if you weren't here yesterday, they helped me raise over $100,000 for a little girl with a brain tumor. And and I really despise when people make fun of them in the media, because like I said, it was created by Lauren Faust, who worked on Powerpuff Girls, which certainly crossed genders and ages, and they just love the show, and it's funny and it makes them happy, and I think they're the sweetest fan base I've ever met, so I love them.
And why do you well, why do you think that is? Why do you think that this particular show, which, if you did look at it on the surface, you would think, oh, that's a show for girls. Why do you feel like this particular show carries across? Because I don't feel like the other My Little Pony versions.
No, because the other ones I think were more conceptualized to sell toys, and Lauren used to play with the characters in her room and create these worlds, and she recreated these worlds, and they're magical, and the stories are well written, and I think the Animation is really beautiful, and if I had to pick one thing, I couldn't, because I think it's one of those things that you can't really explain, but just happens, and people love it. And whenever they say why, I say, why do you need to know why? They just love it, and it's making people better people, and it's bringing people together. I meet so many people that said, I had no friends till My Little Pony, and now they have friends all over the world. And it's like, it's created a community, and I love that.
Very cool. And just in general, you know, particularly because of My Little Pony, I feel like a lot of people have gotten this whole fan base behind you, and particularly for someone who's a lot of times not even on camera, not even seen, to have this kind of fan base. How does that make you feel? Like to come out here and see this crowd? Like, how do these things make you
I love you guys so much. It feels so good. You know, my kids, they don't really see all of this a lot, and I brought them to Comic-Con this year. Were you guys there with the giant Teen Titans Go balloons and everything? And my kids were like, what the? And when they hear people like, that's Tara Strong, they're like, and then my little guy's like, Mommy, how does that feel? And I said, it feels pretty good. How does it make you feel? He's like, pretty proud. Because typically I don't get recognized that much, like at a GameStop or something. You know, I remember once I was with my son and he was buying, you know, some game, and the cashier was like, are you Tara Strong? So, I mean, it's fun for me.
Show and tell should be interesting for him, or bring your parent to work day.
I actually did that this year at school. I came to my kids' class and I had the kids get up and do some auditions for me, and then afterwards all the kids were like, your mom's so cool. And there was a birthday party last weekend, and all the moms who like suddenly never paid attention were like, you're really cool. Like, thanks.
So, voice actor and cool mom, that's great. And speaking of the fans, I think we should do some cute, give her a round of applause. So much fun going through the history of the voice of that. But now let's open up the floor, let's get some Q&A going. So if you have a question, hold your hands, we got a couple of mics floating around. So we'll start right here, right up front.
Hi Tara, just want to thank you. You've been there since I was a kid, watching Rugrats and Powerpuff Girls. Grew up, now I'm playing video games, watching Drawn Together. But just thank you for everything you've given us over the years as fans, all the great voices. You've really made some of those shows and games. But my question is, without context, can you give us like the weirdest or funniest or strangest noise or voice you've ever had to make without any context at all?
Strangest noise. I think Dill had to burp the alphabet. That was kind of strange. I had to say some weird stuff on some anime games.
There's too many children here.
All right, you got anybody else?
I did have to do something really weird with the voice of a sandwich recently. And they were like, you know, I'm like, well, what do you guys have in mind? Well, you know, like a sandwich. I'm like, do your sandwiches talk to you? Mine don't, but is it a boy? Is it a girl? It's kind of androgynous. Okay, that's very helpful. Thank you.
All right.
Hi, first off, it's an honor just seeing you and seeing. Oh my God, I'm freaking out. Sorry.
If you want to be with the criers, they're over there.
I'll cry with them. Has there ever been a moment where you were in character for so long that you accidentally took it out into the real world and people just look at you like, what the hell is she doing?
I will say that I use voices in my real life all the time. And a lot of people ask me what my real voice is and I don't know. But it comes in handy, like if someone owes you money, it's always better to go,
Can I please have the money that you owe me now back?
it's just easier than it's not that I've forgotten who I am, but I always break into crazy voices. And if I'm with my British friends, I'm British. When I'm with my sisters, I'm a black chick. When I can't explain it, but I'm always like mimicking what I hear. If I hear a cute little kid's voice, I'm gonna steal it. It's like constant for me. My life is a cartoon, a walking cartoon.
This is the voice version of Shang Tsung. Your voice is mine. All right, right up.
Hi Tara. I've been like a very big fan of Powerpuff Girls. Me and my dog used to watch it together. Like,
You and your dog?
my dog.
Your dog likes Powerpuff Girls.
He would grab Buttercup and I'd grab Bubbles and Blossom. He would sit down in front of the TV and he'd just stay there.
You have a great dog.
He was awesome.
Aww.
Anyways, my question is there any character you feel that you relate to more than any other throughout the years?
I get asked that a lot. I think I most like Bubbles. Just because, in all of my characters, there's some of me certainly in them, but she's just so silly and fun and positive, and I think I'm like that in real life, and I get very silly and bust into voices all the time, and I love animals, and I most like her, but I see a lot of myself in Twilight. Not really like Harley. Not really crazy. I can't, I don't know. I mean, I'm definitely myself in a lot, but I had to pick one. It would be Bubbles.
We gotta check the Nielsen ratings on that now. Like 100% of the dog demographic seems to be like Powerpuff Girls. All right.
My dog likes to eat a lot of the characters I play.
All right, right there in the hat.
Hi, Tara. Obviously, you have a long-standing relationship with Meg and Laura's house. I was wondering if you're going to be on the new show Wander Over Yonder anytime soon?
I did do an episode of Wander Over Yonder.
You did?
Yes.
Okay, awesome. Hi. Are you going to start crying again? No. Okay, good.
So first off, I just want to say that if I could do all the voices that you do, I would never shut up. And I was just wondering, my question is that, has there ever been a time where you walked in to like an audition or something and they totally pushed you out of your comfort zone? Like, what's the hardest range for you?
That's a good question. I guess, something that's hard for me. You know what is a little challenging for me when they want me to do like an authentic older lady? That's hard for me. Like Chowder was like a hilarious old lady, but when I have to do authentic sounding older ladies, that's hard for me because I'm so young. Yeah, sometimes that's hard. It gets a little silly in my voice.
Good to see you again. Great panel. I have a question. What's the difference between voicing for a movie or for an animated series? Do you prepare it the same way or is it a different process?
Well, it depends. If you've got singing stuff to do, like for The Mermaid, I had to work on the songs, and that was recorded separately. And all of my dialogue for the movie was recorded separately, whereas series we worked together. And so that part can be a little tricky. And then you miss out on meeting everyone, which is sometimes kind of sad. I remember I was getting my nails done, and the lady there knew that I was the mermaid's daughter, and there's a girl that was like a big fan, and she was like 7, so I thought she understood that we do voices, and she asked me what was it like to work with a sea witch, and I said, well, we work separately, so I didn't get to meet her, and she's like, yeah, you did, in the cave? And I was like, oh, okay, she was mean.
I just imagine you're acting out the entire thing on set. All right, we go. Oh, yes.
Do you enjoy Equestria Girls?
Of course, did you like Equestria Girls? Yeah, that was really fun.
Was that a different experience doing Equestria Girls versus doing Friendship
Well,
with
like
Men?
vocally, I did the same thing. Like a lot of the fans get worried, when she became Pegasus or when she's becoming a girl. Like, is she gonna change? So vocally, I don't really change what I'm doing. It's just that suddenly she's thrust into these different situations. But I did hope that it was gonna be well received because a lot of people they get so nervous if there's any change. So luckily, everybody liked it.
Nerds getting nervous about change on the internet? That's not possible.
Chill out.
This person is raising his sword super high. You handle it.
My question is, if the Powerpuff Girls were a house in Game of Thrones, what do you think Bubbles would want their house model be?
I have no idea. Do you have an idea?
House of Bubble.
House of Bubbles! House of Octi? House of Squirrel? House of Dropping Crap?
And speaking of Bubbles, you're Bubbles again. There's going to be a new Powerpuff Girls special, and all you guys came back for the special, right?
Yes, and if you don't love it, watch it, there'll be more.
Yeah, support that. I want to see more of those. Okay, we got Spider. Oh, okay. Wow. All right. Yes, sir. Lady in the middle, right there.
Did you take any acting lessons as a child?
Yes, lots. I think it's really important. Like a lot of times people say that they want to get into voiceover because they have an interesting sounding voice. And I always tell people that acting is the most important because you're bringing these characters to life with your voice, and you have to really imagine these moments as opposed to being on set and actually seeing things. So any kind of scene study. My favorite, I think, is improv. Second City I did in Toronto because you have to think a lot of times really quickly. So yes, any kind of acting class, very important.
Hi Sarah, you're awesome. First of all, you're awesome. So, hi. So my question is, are you fine where you are right now, or are you wanting to pursue like more live action roles, or do you just enjoy voice acting so much, and are you wanting to continue with just like that?
You know, creatively I like to do it all, so I do have a couple on-camera things coming up, which is fun. But I'm really grateful for all the voice stuff I get to do too, so I'm pretty happy, I'm pretty lucky.
Thank you.
Maybe I can make her sign my part.
Hi. First of all, we're more than 20% cooler, or 100% cooler than anything I've ever seen. And I want to ask, how do you feel, or what did you think when Twilight Sparkle became an alicorn?
Well, like I said, when she changed, I was just doing the same thing performance-wise, so I was excited because then there was another place for her to play. Like, obviously, she wouldn't be the most graceful with her wings, and she'd be thrown into different situations, so creatively it was exciting for me. I was just really nervous that the fans wouldn't love it, but luckily they still love Twilight. But it was fun, definitely fun, because there's more to do. There's new challenges for her, and I think one of the reasons people love the show is that how all these different personalities get through different challenges.
I think there was a request all the way in the back. Do Twilight Sparkle!
Dear Princess Celestia, today I met some of the coolest people at Stanley's Comikaze. Your faithful student, Twilight Sparkle. Spike! Pick up the water bottle!